Good evening and welcome to Here I Live Conversations, and this is Pilato. And most of you that have listened to my album, you notice the number 4th song is called Muchalo Chande, which talks about mineral resources, our mineral wealth as a country, and how much that wealth has failed to benefit the local people. So today's show, I invited SYLVIA Chipenge, who is a next door neighbor to Mopani Mine in Kankoyo, so that we can hear her story and understand more of what is happening in the mining areas. Vasylvia ni mwewa lyalanda, shimikire niko abantu FMYK. Timwa chita continue. Vasylvia tie? Vasylvia microphone ilipa mute Vasylvia.
Okay.
Okay.
Amashina ndine SYLVIA Chipenge, mukashi wa Mkanko na ikala mwene yaka 26 years. Elo kabiri kulingana nefyo twaikala Kankoyo. Tulapokeera komwera ufuma ku Mopani Copper Mines, uyo waishibikwa pali center. Nangula sulfur dioxide. Ichi chalilengo kwe bati mushi wesu ube affected mushire shalikanalekana. Amanda yesu yalionaika mulandu wa uyu omwela chakubalirako. Kabiri abantu bala affected bambi balifanamo. Like ba Priska mutali abafyashi babo bafire kumwela uyu wa center. Elo chimbi amayanda yalile pauka. Ayakwe bati uli panse kuti apo chako no uli mung'anda. Kabiri amalata nayo ayapa mitenge yalibola. Ayakwe bati ngamwabika, let's say nabika mu January, come December nishitulelo kwa ngamwapitako kuti mwamfano obulanda. Icho chako ati tulayirishanye nshitane nshita twalirira ku buteko. Ukweba ati venga tuseshako uchofo tulira kofi kutufunya kulire nchende no kutwalako kuli mwero usuma. Icho chaba munsambushe Yesu tufire twakwata mwero usuma no wikashu usuma. Elo chimbi techi tulimeko nangu musalu akweba ati kabila bengita babomba. At least nangu tumusalu na uli mako kubaki adino mbata kwaba. Mulandu wakweba ati mwela senta ine aliona ulo mushiri. Elo na chimbi uyu omwela bimonga wafuma kwambi tulafirwa afeno okupema wala tusairafi. Sori mofire babafeno okubabafi. So twalichula tekwe bati ndelanda free from the blues. Abantu fyaba pita kofi Kankoyo bali mona fena mayandefu ya moneka painting amwapenta taipokola nangu mala tamwabika fila mwapenta kopa muru still yalafu mumlandu wako bati file fimwela fyali kwa chamaka filo naula. Elo na chimbi batatu waikala kofye na bamuka bungwe ka Green and Justice. Akalake mina kokulandira kwa abantu waikala musumba wa Kankoyo. Green and Justice yaishire miaka yapita. Ilala yani chitako sensitize educate for bantu kwale bomwelanga wafuma twamuchitafa ndalaizi kumugodi twala toba mabwe futekeni kufunya center lekeni kutufunya center mabaisa tufundo kwe bata utamufire mwachitefi mfuire mwakonke nshire shisuma efo nomba kwa juku sta sensitize ba youth bana mayo abengi twabana Green and Justice pamonga wa women movement tulasambirisha abana nsambusha abo efo bafuire okubisha ekintu tatufire okubisha mukulwa tufuire twalanda ishiwi ila kwebati nangu bantu batumfo kwebati kwena abantu abalila elo chimbi nacho bali ba Green and Justice bali bomba sana kwali mu 2014 ukuima nombo pia kuli wa office of the vice president kwebati wenga tuchitali locate kuma kuli uli omusumba chine wa vice president bali aswike by then bali ba Guy Scott fyaenda bapera nama directions kwebati bafire bafe relocated abantu bawafunyako kuli omusumba na kanso konse ilidashi eko lyaba ba Guy Scott bafumapo twalipanga follow up again kuli ba current vice president balisa ebokwebati baisa bati mfire mwaya kuli resettlement konse kula kuntu twafika tatwaikala pofi lero ishoko bati paka bushikubumo awe ndesaka twasuka tatwaikala pofi kwena mkwai pamunga ba Green and Justice lero kabiri tulebomba pamona ba youth na ba women movement nama NGOs ayengiyele twafako na bambi ama CSOs wotulebombera pamona bena kulisha kwebati twakwata kubika shubusuma nayo
songa ba mopani mwali bebatife mwaikala nife nangu tabayishi banangu balishi baninshi bashita
ba mopani balishi bega shionse na center yonse ifuma kuli kumgodi wabo balishi banefo ifuma balitula ilyoko batawe yala chepa kokufuma emko inomba kulingana nefyo ifuma kuchepa tapaba ili ndisa mkuleka fema rain season so if rain season nga yapwa ni shiatampa ngefine so yali ambo kufuma
nga mupani maini ni maini ikulu sana mno Mzambia nga babombako mwe basilimo mwali kwatako nango amdala nango ababrula babombako limbe bala bafolesha bwino pakwati nango mule chulefyo ninja discipline bali bapela ko MPH nto chabashana
impia shabafye tashabesha bayinafumwe bantu opo mulemo na shimaini alebomba nangolo muntu alebomba afuili abomba afole impia shakwebati asonkela monga ninga ndakayamanda balishitishi balalya 3 meals uruchero wakazuba nechungulu nomba abantu nga mwasanga ati balefira okukwanisha okufika pa 1 budget yabo ilepera nishita balefola bwino
nga ba member of parliament I remember I got a meeting na vena the Africa president dia party problem basta poshani na member of parliament
ba member of parliament kutula pala to akwatire nabo meeting wakonke kulusaka yakulaba response ili yonse kwena nabepo obufi
so but mwadishile kumopani maini ni business company business entity
emkwali
ila pangana profit indala meshingi sana
emkwali
eva nepo wenu ba mopani
emkwali
so nomba guri mwenga mwati mchilondolo de bushe kopa dipalo nangu chitipo
kopa dipalo pakutipo tukwati omukuba muli chimwe kyalo kyesu lesali tupalire ebibwe ero atupere okwebati ndina ifo emo tulesangira kubwika shubusuma nomba twasanga ati kopa yala muleka kwati litipo bali nshita bantu yali twalukira tatuchitamo benefit tatuishi banefo yenda tatuishi bana profit bapangire kaya kuti twamfwe fine pa ma paper lokwebati Prophet bapangire n'ifi nomba eringi tatuyumva tatwalishona prophet bapanga bantu yonse tumkwasa ati malosezi kwalabo okufunya abantu amachito ero nga mwalulesha kankoyo community. There are few people abakwata inchito, the rest kubafye kushibuka kyoluchero bali mu mashabini tuwangwa n'okulanda abalumendo icho kyalenga okuba tinomba babape majera akali muze CCM kwale bati balabako bati ni ba grade 7 ba grade 8 tewonse omuntu upuyirisha esukulu awo bale kwatako access yakuingira ku nchito nga buchibombe bombe nomba pali ino nchita katuishino bengi shama chito but mukanko community maybe ababa bamajela nga baba mu plant na kyonse finga takwa
right.
Naho ngatakwa bantu akaleta kwali fe tondolo kankoyo during ZCCM time bantu bonse bale kwata ku ishuko lya kubomba omani
ngaba projects bakonkoyo bachita Mufulira yashani kwali bakufira tori bila bakura ku skulu nangu naba wa myako skulu nangu naba wa myako chipatala o nangu naba chitako kwali bakweveve kuli ba mupani
apa kuli wa mupani atushita ja mwana wandoshi pamokuta shako
yamkoni
kankoyo police post bayise renovate then clean 5 na bayise ko renovate kunu makulya apa balisakula koka community school bapangira ko baleta ama container bapangira ko community school tusungeni
ama container
ifi bakula fe bwino yale mweka bapanga filiale ni nama yomtenge kale mweka fe bwino akali school
ama container kasu makankoyo nangu kasu makonse kuri concept ka bakasuma
tukaba kasuma emkwai
so nomba pali story mwatanda ko pali story ya kulwale kuba ne mnamando kulekusa abatabaisa ko ku kankoyo timwa ilondolo la shani pokati bakwata idea i clear pali kankoyo
kankoyo kuti yapala mina ko panono kuli ka desert umukumoneka bantu zimutita mwabe fyako bati nafifula sana awe but not desert sana kwali bafyo kwa katuishi kwa buturuka fie
tamusakamana tamutina
tulatina nomba fyako chitapeta twakwata sola ingyapene tulesakamana nokusakamana maisa kwamba fyokupeka lyotu dishi twakutengeresha apa akulala napa akuikala msiti mnamwikala yambo okulikinga twaliwa fyabasakamana eshita yonse
ngafida tomfire fyakudilika tipyamasinko fyabashani namba firashitika
filya palino nchitanshira kutikapu emkwale but kuno fyasitikati kuna chinjirika nomba palino nchitanshira nkwapo
Okay, so to those that are watching us, about SYLVIA CHIPENGE, if you have any questions at this point, I'll be able to take questions. So as we share questions, ask as many questions as possible, whatever you want to understand. So Zambia is a country endowed with resources such as copper, diamonds, emeralds, gemstones, infrastructure, and gold. So now, with so much resources, why is Zambia poor? We want to understand why are our people still poor when we have so much resources? Where are we going wrong? At this point, Sylvia, I'll be able to get those questions and share with Sylvia Valaska. And so Sylvia. Ba mopani balelanda balifo kubika pasha na maintenance atunandwa mwalimu fako ya kubika kwa care and maintenance
nali umfako ya care and maintenance But as for now, shishi benga nafi ba through.
I think tafila ngafya fitch kenango takobati bandati vaisalamu pani nangu chava for anything in that direction. Mulenje vati ti chava ni difference ikurusana ku vantu vakumopani bakubankoya. The difference.
Difference ngavapo limbi mwera nga waleko okufuma then kwaba fe tondolo takule fume chushi chira tatule kolwa then namana nikani nomba still takes to mend filefi ife to amenda amina amanda yalekuka bantu ngani bambi kulya kuma special pali benga ndaimula kwati nga mwangira tuma nkobulanda mwali bechikunda mukati chakwati nga mleti na mita mleko nopo yale ponena nganda yali onaika yali lipuka aye ngifi amanda put down kulya yali lepuka fe sana fi so upusano apa bit pale limbi kumwela fyoko twingela fyoko twingata shako petao kwena wa tushako tema center
ba rude koni chitambo bale kusha ati mwakwata menshi aye samanda do you have water supply in homes kuma po mtikira kuma menshi yako
twalikwata menshi ayafuma kumayanda
yana yari wasabwe tayao na ikaini
amenshi yaliba ilimo yalesa mukufuma na slag filefiko fuma kuli kopa fya black yalesa mukufuma fila fine amenshi yayalamba anyway tayaba sana efficient ubumi bwa mundu
tunambaya kote slag lolo mwana shani mwana afuma kwi
ya chita stabilize lo mwana we live by the grace of God.
Hallelujah. When I was Muhammad Mkonga, how is health water and houses? Because we do have cracks because of undermine. Do fix them for you. Tempted to
How is health in the water and
the houses? Because they do have cracks because of under. I think this film of Mkwa's kind.
Ni film enough Mkwa's.
Ba Christian Musenga. What is the MP doing with all the challenges that town is facing? Does he visit the town on a daily basis?
He do visit. I nama Daisy. He was here in Mufulira. But takwaba fifa kwati kubyo okubato ndaya abantu kwebati nangu baluishisha abantu kwebati babasesheko okulanda pwechi awe kuma faida ile fikwa ifyo kuikala na bena bale mpitu bakonkera kubisaka
na dimfile kwati ba World Bank walilanda badifunye mkesha kusta actually innovate nyakusta repair environment kankoyo. How was that?
Mkwayo issue twalireko na council bali ifumisheshwe empia shintire shalifumeshwe empia uli ba shakufuma kwa World Bank kwati bachite repair omushiri eno twaisana tawo tubasita shani repair omushiri ero emiyo yabantu limukayo because muno mkankoyo center ila yali ona ule fin tete muri tomato tete musisha no vale fo kula fi chita atuku fo ya matenti ya dati acid proof uma greenhouses then yelo bala byala to ila tuliko fika kwati fireme na fi mushirifu ishwe chama ba chitali locate abantu nama questions twalebe kushokwe bati ilili ashirako ati mulete ama greenhouses kwali abasira attend but some of us tatwale umfwako kachinga mulandu wa kukana sange yenshita yakwe bati tumfueko kumva afite okwatira meeting pa school pa kuti tamwisho ne fomo mule ipusha kwati bali sumini abantu kufini nifinefi okay nawake tukengira kona masitumu nombero na tuba tuitireko twako kukanzo kula kuchema ina lipushe ma questions yandi mwaitire consult community because ichintolo chileza mufire mwachita consult community community eileta government minus community government state party so mufire mwachita consult community la community nga basumino kwe bati yemko aina chibefi era nomba chabefi awe twalishira mushi twalibirisha shana shanita utatwale mufwako kwena kwe bantu abengi fe bali kugishe abengi bali against kwe batawe tete bese ba mukubyala ifya kumena mu matendi chama filemena mushi afafine nani popo amena kota pela amena kwa bloku twala
But Santos pusha will the mine repair the homes of the affected. So amanda to beka de lipuka amitengeshi de tulika. Bushaba mine badi panga po commitment yako ba trokesa miwamisha. Kaile bali panga profit. Mota mulipanga profit. Ba mine bali panga profit. Bali panga po commitment yako isa mkumiwamisha maya ndaya oneka.
Amaini bali kana tete bachite repair. Kulingana nesho basa inishenye. Pakushita omugodi anda twasira omugodi twasitira mayanda so tete twasite repair ifili fyonse nga fintu ZCCM yali tutitira repair
ZCCM yali tutitira repair ba mufani baka na tenso ya box repair
kai ZCCM yali na abali ati mayanda ya company so they used to repair.
Richard, is it true that electricity doesn't go in Kankoyo? Chachi na chama light taya Kankoyo.
Ichende shimotari ya.
But kwa boko ya nokotaya ya?
Kurioko ya leya nokotari umlandu wa hospital ya clinic.
Oh, so kubelelo clinic taya malait.
Ndiala afya fine ya leya. Ama awazi ya pero kwe ya vuela
so
elo chimbi mumbyo kotale ila ngozi nga yaya mwalishi bape kwa libobo afi usanga fye nabasenda makebu mlandu ya jobless emkwai
njemeni kwapo so kuli mlandu wa bulofwa abantu nabambo kulaya bani
makebo fena yalaya kulingana fe
tibaye bentambo shamalaiti ngamdia malaiti nangubeba nishi ya tamu
nishi naya kwamba fena kukati
so wapi so nomba echo muinga temwa vyachitika because obviously the artificial tamba echo muinga temwa imwazi ba resident ba Mkankoyo echo muinga temwa chachitika ni chinji
inecho ninga temwa chachitika kutufunya Mkankoyo emphasis finala pera kutufunya ko Mkankoyo to ako kunchendo kwa kwati tulelima komsalu then nomwela tulepema ko usuma bantu limwe mwasanga ati abana alepema febwino ale kula ambo kupema kwati untu wachutuka sana urubiro abana mlandu wafya finefu mwera tebonza abana abakwati bala kwanisha okupema uli omwera abengi fya abana finga chali chako wati kwati fyenshita yako wati batufwaira kufena mufendi ba dokita bayisa apima do to do bakasanga okweba ati abengi bali lwala mufifuba
so timwatemwa aba mixtari rocket
emkwai
so your program ya location mwachira ndapo mwachira ndapo yafika yarifika pako bati mulina okusela nango ichive papene pa zero pantu kairi mamona izo naipushe question yako bati iyi discussion twita baleta amba bengi ngatako bati baishi ba epo process ya Africa it will be easier ukuisa bamyafa bapushinga so imwe ukonka nefe mwaishi ba yafika pesa iyo process yakuka okuya kunchende ndio
2019 ilikuwa ni 2019 ile World Environmental Day. Minisita Wanchinga balisa mfu obulanda kumona ffe kukanko oyo nokulanda balilandako then kwalishire ba DMMU bantu napitire nabona mushi twashunguluka twafika tena ku last kuli okumona mayandoko yaba baishira ndoko atawo ino nchende mwandini taidi isume yakwata abantu baikalako chama ffe bakamifunye kofi so basendere report baya but feedback tabala tubwesesha up to now but kulingana n'okumona epo tuleya n'oko twafuma yesale asuka ala twasuka
But Charles Lupia Valeran that at vesting, the new mine owners signed a development agreement which said they are not liable to any traditional liabilities. Secondly, the house stock was sold to sitting tenants as part of the terminal benefits. Barondo vafine mwachilondo lava Charles mupani vali ndoko vati vali sign a development agreement yalira ndoko vati tabaka taking a responsibility yama liabilities yonse yali kwete va ZCCM vila tivalishana mayani. So I think that's a general position. Ngachakwe bati abakumi study locate basumina mwali kwa attention de mwanga temo kumikusi shako ninchi mwala salile wenchende mwali kwa attention de mwanga temo bamikusi shako
inchende abengeshwa buno bwino bibakanso bantu kutitwala ndati tutwaleni kumurundu bibaisa tweko kuwatawe nakuba occupied tutwaleni kukanso side nakuba occupied bakanso ebakwete nchende apa kutubika ebafule batu fwaira apa kuba
okay so
oko batutwala okwakwati twelimanga ni murundu kutitwala ikalanga ni kansuswa kutitwala ikalanga ni kamuchanga kutitwala ikalanga ni ndola road kutitwala ikalanga ni kito road kutitwala ikalanga azonga zimufulira yaba feni mufulira wapanga na nyuka nkoyo yakonka nyapo nokonka nyapo.
Okay, Sylvia. So number, why do you think tabale mikusha? Because ingachali yangu kefu niishi mule mwena kwa tefu tabale mikusha wamfunye kukankoyo kwa mpekuli kankoyo ingawa kumwinga basafe mwe bantu tamule ba exposed to poison niishi mule mwena kwa teile denga tabale mikusha imwe
Ata ichilerenga makansellers beso bafire batu iminako then nama MPs bafire ba pushing iliashi batu afwako baingira monamo nabo para twatambira ba joina paka twafika ko twingekala nomba ama MPs ngatabale twiminako bwino tichalenga fya iminina.
Okay, so okay, Sylvia, we are joined by Mr. Webby Banda, who is a researcher and has worked extensively on the extractive industries in Zambia. Webby, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Very good. So I've been discussing with Sylvia on the issues to do with Kankoyo. And the new, obviously, she had mentioned of new arrangements and agreements that have not really worked for the benefit of the people in Kankoyo. I, obviously, with my viewers, would like to understand from your perspective, and what you think is happening. I will be giving you about 15 minutes of your presentation, and then after that, we'll also do questions and obviously be able to answer what we'll be able to develop as questions. You may take it off.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for having us. And as the Center for Trade Policy and Development, we believe that mining is the only asset that we have for our country. And we've said this on so many platforms, and we'll continue to say this, that government needs to see to it that it exploits this important industry for every Zambian to benefit. Most countries that have benefited from the mining sector have basically done two things. In its original primary form, the mining sector has been a source of revenue for the government to champion socio-economic expenditures. But at the same time, the mining sector has been a source of alleviating the hardships of the people in these countries. So the best way forward for Zambia is to exploit this important sector for the benefit of the Zambians. We know that from history, Zambia has heavily relied on large-scale mining, but this large-scale mining has not trickled to benefits down to the locals. And there's a call by CTPD that we need to realign our focus to the artisanal and small-scale mining sector, because this is the only way in which Zambians can participate in the artisanal and small-scale value chain. But at the same time, this sector can be used to alleviate poverty in communities hosting mineral resources. So government needs to see to it that it puts systems in place that ensures that everyone in these communities benefits or garners the maximum benefit. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Banda, why do you think government is not doing it?
The government, I wouldn't say government is not doing that, but I think it's not doing enough to see to it that everyone in these communities behave. We've, for instance, within the gold mining sector, we've advocated for the formation of cooperatives, because that is the only way you would organize these locals in groups. And once they're into organized groups, it becomes easy for government to actually channel support, both technical and financial. But if you have the artisanal and small-scale miners that are not properly organized, it becomes difficult for government to coordinate activities that eventually benefit these members in these communities. So there's need for a coordinated approach. I mean, the will might be there, but if that will is not coordinated together with a robust approach, it becomes futile to that extent.
But Sylvia,
Go ahead.
mwadi kwatepo idea ya kupanga ma cooperatives, any idea like cooperatives, so that maybe you could see how best you can benefit from hosting a big mine as Mopani mine in Congo. Mwapatapo idea kupanga ma cooperatives so you can start engaging in business or chan. Mwapatapo initiative ya FF Congo.
Yeah, in fact, the women movement, twaliambako fieno kupanga iyo arrangement nechifye mulandu wafya covid kumana iyo arrangement yali ukweva ati ama machines quite okay nakwata nomba kuko bati twalabirako limbi naifwaye ama ovalo le twalushako kula sta supply kumopani pakwati naifwaye tulestako benefit kuchira fila vale shita kunse na kumbi bashitali mbikulu libakitwe limbandola nomba kwebene kwebekala muno Mufulira tatukwetekoleyo access so chali samu ntontonkanya nangu twali chipemba wenga bonse twali pange nkwaina kyakumushi iyo program ifwe twalyamba pamonga ba women movement pakubirira fyoko tulefwaya pakulire kwapa kwati twamba okubira ero twali kushaba mupani kwebati awo na ifwe kwena tulesitako benefit kuli fyomu kuli shimpia sha bodi tulesitako ntifomusaza wale tujombola kwa maova.
Thank you. Mr. Banda, would you be in a position to obviously share with us what is different in the agreements that Mopani mine has? Because we have a number of mines in Zambia, and I think it's only Kankoyo that cries of AMA emissions, AMA sulfuric acid. Would you be in a position to share why it has to be Mopani in Kankoyo alone?
Can you come again? I didn't get that question.
Would you be in a position to obviously know why Mopani mine could be allowed to be emitting sulfuric acid and endangering the lives of so many people who do not even partake in the profits, whilst we have so many mining companies in Zambia where this emission of sulfuric acid and all that is not a problem?
Okay, thank you very much. If you talk about sulfur dioxide emission, there's always an acceptable level, and the authority that is in charge of overseeing that mines are compliant with environmental regulation is the Zambia Environmental Management Agency. And to assess whether a mining company is emitting these dangerous gases beyond the accepted limit, only ZEMA could answer that. But I do know that most of these mining companies have integrated sulfuric acid to their smelters. So what happens there is that the sulfur dioxide is captured within the plant, and that in itself is used to make sulfuric acid. And that sulfuric acid can be channeled back into the production process for copper leaching, which is simply a method of extracting copper through hydrometallurgy.
Coming to the business side of things, we have been told that Mopani is one of the big mines on the copper belt, and they make huge profits. But Mopani is in Kankoyo, and Mopani is at the center of the destruction of people's houses, destruction of the environment, and everything. I would like to understand from your perspective, is there no obligation whatsoever, either from the government or from the Mopani mine, to safeguard the health of the people, the environment where the people live? Is there any? I'm asking this because obviously we are in a situation where profits has been pushed to the fore and life has been pushed to the rear. Are you in a position to share with us, probably with the agreements, what agreements they share? Did they sign that would allow party to do what they're doing without being charged, without being pursued by any, like ZEMA, like you've mentioned, or by the government itself? Are you in any position aware of such agreements that would allow them to do this with impunity? Because they are investing so much money from Kankoyo, the least they can do is not pollute the people's lives and anything like that.
Though I can't quite get you, but from what you're asking, it seems you're saying, is there any legislation that governs environmental protection in as far as these mines are concerned? Is that what you're trying to ask?
So my question is from the economic point of view that so we have these resources in Kankoyo, and in harvesting this mineral, uh, the people's lives are damaged with the acid. The environment is damaged. The houses damaged. Uh, what agreement are you in a position to know or share about the agreements that allows Mopani Mine to do this without being charged by the government or by government agents?
Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know, I mean, the issues of, is it sinkhole for communities that are close to Kankoyo? But as I said earlier, it's the mandate of ZEMA to ensure that these mines follow environmental guidelines. There is legislation that governs environmental protection in Zambia, but having legislation and the implementation of that legislation are two different things. You might have legislation, but if that legislation is not implemented to the ground, then it becomes a deviation between what is there in theory in terms of the legislation and practice in terms of implementing that legislation on ground. But if you look at the Environmental Management Act, even before these mining companies actually embark on these projects, they undertake environmental impact assessments, and that in itself feeds into the process of obtaining a license from the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development. But of course, if ZEMA does not enforce these regulations, it becomes a bit porous for these mining companies to not undertake environmental protection. And therefore, it's important that government institutions are well capacitated to ensure that they effectively monitor these mining operations from discharging harmful gases to the environment. The debate of whether Kankoyo is contaminated or non-contaminated, it's another topic for discussion because it's very difficult to ascertain. You need to take the soil samples to the
What's it?
Okay.
Mwajiumpapo hii agency at Zema babanda kwatizimbiashu makompyuta mshoba bala wena join us. Is Zema balenda if you assets fyama environment. Mwajibu mpapo
Bazema nalibonfapo
emkwe.
even last year ku mining indaba itwakwetea last year baituile kwa representatives wabo tuhamba okuepshama questions babutukano you need to come office nashani nangu abakwasuke questions tabalipo kubachitutuma fya tulondoleko pali bazema bazema twali bakwatira ama questions ayengi because umwela kupema po omuntu ayesa mukuita kwati umweo waya nishifumine shani ero tu bazema twalefu aishokwe bati baleisa ukwabula okuyishibisha bamupani ati baleisa baisa fye baisa imwene omwera ofo ofuma pantu limo kulaba limbini bambuteeko baleisa mwala mona ma emissions nishiyachepa n'okuchepa kumugodi bintu kwala afena
Ngabamupatikoleesa ba minister nangu ba president nangu ba
na center tire fuma
center dayafuna.
Kwala bafe tondolo nomba ifo wata bamuteeko baisa fye okwabula okuyishibisha okwe bati baleisa baisa imwene ifo tulanda kuneko tuyibishana nomba obwafe wapo kanyinshi nabeshwa to ma government officials balaisa kuli omusumu.
So meeting mwako atepo mwafumala nchenye na bazema ifyo mulevi kushakwe fya last ba mebera ati ninchi situation ba mebera ati filifyo kwino na mutafilifu
balandira okwe bati konde bukishako fye balanda bali kya kuchita kulaba okulembesha before balabantu tabalamba okuchita operate omugodi bayakula kwine kachama certificate wapela nomwero fofile ulefu mafyanse kwate ma conditions babeba nga babeba nga tabayisa comply kulaba kwati kubakonka baba chita charge nombefyo kai nga baleisa bazema nijinabe eshibisha to tuleisa uno kumugodi nomba tfuatwe bakuli bazema baisa fye kwa buloko ba mufanyi kwa tuleisa baisa pema ko umwira bamfoko tumpa mufu
so mutontonganya kwenu ba Sylvia ngachakwe bati inganda yaba MP inganda yaba director baku mufani inganda yaba minister ngayali kukankoyo ngeko pya bafyonse vyomulera ndati makosa
ifyonse nga takwa basawo panga taifu ibozi ba MP nga bekala mukankoyo umo balefuma fye bayafe pa weekend kudusakana ponga ni ku parliament nga bayafe nga nipawenze ibako ya parliament nga fyali chingi nombe lingi mukasanga ati bantu mwa bavota filafini balasanga ati akuka nokuka ikala kukanta nshina nkuma yadi mwana mshala fyafile mmepemba fyo mwero obi nomba kubafe nibayo teti bekali nangu sentanga taifuma
if na chips your question nachakuwa understanding ngachakuba ati limbi chakwa basa nabandara makankoyo ba ngakwa dinge kwa dekara ba MP ngakwa dicindama ngekwa dekara ba
director ninge kwekala ngafya dichinja lini
nga director wa mine nekara kwe
shishibe
taifika kono kufa ko senta te
woko baba limbi no kufika taifika
okay they can't find a question we push abantu so I want Judith Kachulu. But Judith Valera, that this sulfuric dioxide in Kankoy has been there for long time. Hence, 3/4 of the population may have some respiratory problem. Yes, as well. Something has to be done promptly, so Valera, is that the problem yako kola. So 3 out of 4 mukasanga twali kwa tama respiratory problem. Kula ndakwa problem yakale. So, but then when that something must be done. Fitu washtapo chimomubwa mkwangu fyanya. Mkwe. Ba lekeni fwa na imi. Tabale wale pshawantu wale mirumbanya. But thank you for sharing your plight. There have been many mining endeavors in Lusaka, Copper Belt, and last year a local one in Mufulira. I've been there, and have there been any benefits of these endeavors to Kankoyo community? What commitments have the mines and governments made to this platform, at this platform? Baliranda baruiza baliranda kwadi ba mining indaba zaya bako kulusaka Copper Belt neya ishira bako kumufulira. Ni ma benefits nshimo mwa monapo mukankoyo oyo mwa ishire mona because of vayama indaba. Ma benefits na mako benefits ma indaba so mama emkwa
from benefits yes mama mining indaba education wala tusambilisha mu kintu kingi kutusambirira mutu akwatwanyirira no patwamba okulayira njira we learn a lot of things from mining indaba aya kwati twakosana mfama meetings twala kumachemba batuulira no kwiminira okulana okwipushama questions.
Okay, so but I'm on PDB. I feel the government through Zema and its stakeholders have to come on board and offer solution to those people, either by relocating them or compensating them for the damages caused by these activities. Good discussion. Are we saying Zambian communities this one is from Mr. Band. Are we saying Zambian communities will only benefit from mining when they themselves participate in artisanal or small scale mining, and they should not hope for benefits from large scale mining? Mr. Banda, what is your take on that question?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. You see, mining is a capital-intensive business venture. And in that regard, it becomes a little bit difficult for ordinary Zambians to fully participate in these ventures. I mean, this is why as CTPD, we've advocated for artisanal and small-scale mining, because you have to start small before you actually make a transition to large scale. Once we've fully capacitated ourselves in terms of artisanal and small-scale mining, we can then gradually move to large-scale mining. But as it stands right now, Zambians can participate in large-scale mining, but we must bear to mind that mining is a capital-intensive business venture meriting huge financing. And that in itself becomes a limiting constraint for Zambians to participate in this sector at that level. And if government comes in to craft systems, uh, Zambians can fully benefit from the mining sector through artisanal small-scale mining, but at the same time can make a smooth transition to large-scale mining. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Dennis Brown says, Pilato, I believe this is forward to having our people know and see and engage in meaningful activities through interactive workshops and talking often with different people from all sectors of our community will surely help a lot. Keep it up, brother. Okay, this one is just saying nice things to me. I should enjoy it. Let me find a question that we can respond to. Mr. Banda, I want to understand.
Yes,
So from your study, from your work in the mine, what opportunities are there for ordinary Zambians to engage in and benefit from the mines at that level?
so come again.
What
I didn't get you.
Okay,
The network is breaking.
okay, so let me say that again. From your work and study and in the extractive industries in Zambia, what opportunities do you think exist for ordinary Zambians to take
Yeah.
advantage of?
Okay, yeah. I'll start with large-scale mining, then cast gears to artisanal and small-scale mining.
Yeah.
If you look at the large-scale mining, we do know that multinational enterprises are fully engaged in the mining sector, but business opportunities still present themselves to ordinary Zambians to participate in terms of supplying commodities, okay, that are used in the mining process. I'll take, for instance, drill bits. Drill bits are an accessory that are used by mining companies on a daily basis. And for them to fully function, they need this input to the production process. And Zambians can engage, okay, uh, in these activities of supplying commodities that are used in the daily production process. But not only that, you know that most of these mines do undertake contract mining, and this in itself is an opportunity for ordinary Zambians to dispense contracting services to these mining companies. But coming down to the artisanal and small scale mining sector, Zambians can actually fully benefit by engaging in the mining activities themselves, because for artisanal and small scale mining, you do not need a huge dispensation of finance. And with government support, mining companies can begin to exploit these deposits in artisanal and small scale mining areas. So these are some of the opportunities that do present themselves to the people, and people can actually exploit these opportunities for the betterment of themselves to alleviate poverty levels, of course.
Are the people doing so? Are the people getting involved?
Sorry?
Are the people doing so? Are the people engaging at that level? Are they
Come
providing?
again?
Are the people supplying? Are the Zambians supplying? Are the Zambians taking advantage of those opportunities?
Of course, definitely. I mean, if you go into most of these mining companies, I mean, people who are undertaking contract mining are ordinary Zambians. And at the same time, I mean, they are also engaging in artisanal and small scale mining. So, I mean, Zambians are actively engaging into these activities, but the benefits can be tripled if government steps in and provides an enabling environment for them.
What would you recommend to governments to do so that these mining companies and the benefits and the profits and the good of hosting these mines get down to the people like Sylvia and many people like her? What would you recommend to governments to do? What intervention would you propose that they introduce so that we have wealthy mines and operating around wealthy neighborhoods? What would you recommend to government?
What do you recommend to government in terms of what? I didn't get
Uh,
that.
So first of all, I asked that question of the Zambians taking advantage of these opportunities. You said yes, a good number of them are, but maybe it's not trickling down, and suggested that the government could do more. So now I wanted to be specific on what you think should be done that government can do, so that the benefits and of these mining companies doing whatever they're doing, and these opportunities that have been created for the Zambians can trickle down to people like Sylvia.
Okay, I mean, our system of governance around the mining industry is a unique one. You do agree with me that mining companies do pay taxes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when these mining companies do pay taxes to the government, I mean, it's the onus of the government to actually dispense services to alleviate poverty in these communities hosting these resources. For instance, I talked about is it artisanal and small scale mining, and you know that for a long time now, is it the Zimba compound in Mufulira does supply silica to Mopani copper mines, but these artisanal and small scale miners, who are mainly women, do face a number of challenges. Okay, for instance, they do not have access to basic finance. They do not have equipment to actually exploit these silica deposits. But if government comes in and steps in to provide capacity, it will go a long way in trickling those revenue benefits to the locals. And this trickling down could only come in when government does dispense equipment, does undertake training, it advises these women to actually or minors to form cooperatives, thereby making it easy to channel them in terms of providing access to finance. Actually, so I mean, there's need for government to actually provide an active working role because these mining companies do pay taxes, and those taxes must be channeled in erecting a favorable investment climate or business climate for these artisanal and small scale miners.
Thank you. Basilvia,
Mkwayo.
bamisozi tembo bebele. Basilvia mwabombeni. Muleo mfika bwino. Busheba mine police balileka okuma abantu nga balelanda pansa mbushabo, especially efyo bamupani barufyanya landeni kumkwai.
Umuntu onse naine wine pano n'akaana akaafyalwa leero kali kwata ensambu ishakuilishanya pakintu ifishilondolweke abo bamupani nangu bamaini polisi nga baleuma umuntu ero alilanda pafintu ifilungene ifikumine ndemona tinto bamupani balufyanya kwatfila bamupani nga balufyanya pofimwelo omuntu alanda pansambu shako ifyo nalachitandastandi kwati panshapo tabakwete pwensambu shako mauli omuntu mulandu
baleuma bamaini polisi akale nangu
kwena chabecheni kuli inechi chabecheni chakwati baleuma bamupani nga muntu alanda pansambu shako limbinga ni mukati mulya limbi mwabefya lubana lyomo baleuma nalo line tabakwata ensambu shako umuntu wonse alikwata ensambu shako ilishanya ngasanga okwebati kwintafwene
Banja Valevere. I remember visiting Member of Parliament Brian Mushimba in his office here in Lusaka with women from Kankoyo, and he promised to come back to the constituency to come and not only to engage with the members but also expedite the relocation plan. What is the status on that, Wasil? Minister MP bakesa no making sure the process yakumikusha yachitika mubwangu pyanya kale bwangu tetero lyafika pesa ili ashiti
arabanjavwa bamfumu banjavwa tabamoneka antu abamoneka inoshita tulelanda nga tulesansa mukapa tuletirawo twali kukira okusuma mwabombere nyombata kwabo besa befilafini abene bamunana nama members wabo chapa
But Francis Webere, Mr. Fumba, I'm a student in Mufulira and the institution is next to the mine. It's true, the air is polluted. Zema needs to wake up. So, I think to our overshoot time, basi uvyamashi winshi ya kulekeresho mwingate moksta view kubantu abade mwa on behalf of Mwebene and on behalf of abantu wakango fisha mwingate mokulekeresha mkulande vino shipu ishefe mwachisa ebukishafe at very important finishefe mwingalanda landeni ngamlefu wati mwaranda wana wansha mkitoto
ichakubalirapo nde chitapiyo kubuteko kweba ati ifo bakangoyo batufunye kukangoyo echo tufwaya fye kutufunya kukangoyo
nombanga bakangoyo basivyo panono ngabamifunya kukangoyo imwe abakavota kanani
iraine ko kwinoko bakatutwala ikaba ninyi ukangoyo nokuvota tukavota
okay kwa Kenya nipona
elo chimbi echo nala chitapiyo nde chitapiyo kuli wa government kweba ati fwebe kashi abapalamira n'emikodi tufule info tuleba abana mbo wano okuchita benefit kumukuba wesu bantu uli omukuba wesu walilipala okufuma kuliresa ewatupere so tufule tulechita benefit then chimbi batwimini nako tuma aina ma cooperatives yabamushi like bazimba kulya kwali wabatu bamabwe babalolekeshako babafuirishako kweba ati balechita supply abene direct kumupani not fili ama middlemen bamukusenda amabwe kuli balabana mayo baleyimba nga basenda amabwe bala bashuka pakubafurisha chirakokola chiraposenshita koma fefine fwe mapara ligofsi baisa ku office yafine bayilishanya bantu bambi kwali bafe baisa mukulipirira kula kwine baisa bayilishanya twabeta obene bama middlemen baisa paka batashani batampa okulipira bambi nokubalipira bambi ndehanda bambi bimpita balipira nokubalipira elo icho chine chako bati batwalako registered nangu yaye nama cooperatives ngaba registered twaingisha akona ifo balabana bali mushi ngakubira balepanga kwa mabatani ukubu n'obwalo kuti kwachepako vana navo veta ati wamajira navateka infine vamupani navo kwavako wama-skills yamungafipuna valepangako valesita supply kumupani mupani irakwaika mafurnitures muma-offices tuvapanga abantu vafuma muri burya bushava iri enchito vakwata varumende vaisa valepanga vasita supply vyofine vakana at the end of the month nomba ngatakuri ifyo nichivwafya bweka nivifine pakati apa geni kwalifyongoko amajela ichava nashani so twapapata vakango echo tulefwaya fye kutufunyako nokututwala kunchende isuma nokuyapanga nyu kankoyo yaifo fine kankoyo constituency nokuvota kulavota MP aiminina kuri yo ine constituency emkwali then chimbi vazema navo tulavafwaisha vaisa munefititika kulya notifira vesa valeisa kofe limofira fyale chitanangu vadereti vatata vasata vila valiko va minister of health kwale vafeli mbina vaipanga kwatilimbite va minister of health mamona fetuo vacho paka mchanga hospital nkwene kuvapilinga nyama nesezi vaisa kofide nakufya vamubuteko vaise fofine vaisa mona ifititika saufanga napona natukona notwa black punch panitwa black pero vapalya vanipasikingi wala mona toiso pishiyo kuboko ikashirika nokushirika mlandu wako vati nombe nkanda shesu kuva shani ulesiwa mafuta tayareika mlandu wako ati saufa yalima nalionaona so ifyo twapapata ine emphasis yandi yakutuchita relocate chapo bonse abantu mukankoyo nangu mukeme door to door twaisitapo research twaingira mushi twamba okuchita ma-interviews abantu timwate mwenshi abantu bonse ni haukutufunyako fikulu mone ning'anda yange wasanga fye omuntu nechiwumba nachiya chilipo mitenge nasho eshinga mwaisa fifindela ndate fyavu fifishinka apa pene fena muli vazema vakeme vakeseisa saufa ifuma na senta yale fuma kalefya lipisana vazesisiye mga vavike mtengi pale kokola miles pakwisa chinja nomba inonshita ni 6 months filwambo kufwaisha mtengi nomba taubombo oli mushimbe walafunya kwisa okushitama rufinshitsu kwani shenga ndanyisa abaume nabo limbifo fine balipata bakwata enchito balafunya kusechere kulaenda notudisha mainzi mwatengeresha pana makapu yonse napabedi ponzo pomulena mutengeresha nga ololokanishi chapo paitikira chapo pabomba so kwena okuteka okutulorekeshepo kulingana nobwikashi bwakankoyo kwena tabwawana nangu imisewo babikire shire mpiyanga chawamishepo ambako relocation nomba okusasanga pemisewo babika nashani chamweho balesa wani nalo line kuti shashala baleshi bompe bamupanyi bachikuminkanya afi paka chafika na kumufu west
imisebo
imisewo balipanga mushi so chawama feshashala babika fefensi fe bamupani monse mulye paka kuya kufika na kumufu west kula kuli uyo mgodi wa kubutondo pantu pala ponsi twaikala munkuka bashala balimba bene chapo kaita tuchita mu benefits tatuli apo kyakwati awo twamona wo nangu ni hospital batukulira nangu batira awo fitule emyona ulazima twalambitirako nangu mitenge nangu nishitakwa so it's better bapanga fe chawa fe nchimaini chonse batutwalako kuliko omwelo osuma pantu ninsambu shesu shakupema omwelo osuma nomba oinya omwelo oyo nawo nga twayirishanya ntire ekyo tuyirishanisha n'okuyirishanisha omwelo tawawama nangu wafuma fyaponena pamutenge omutenge kula alikafe nomba fili ompa omutenge ule elikafira nga waisa ikata so kashona ikanga muchifuwo mofile ingira minshire amukutitikamu mumala finshifira mukutitikamu mwawumfanga nikunu makumyaka yakunu mameshi asidi yachiponena mumenshi abantu bano wako balwala bafwa bambi shani So twapapata mwebuteeko naalira on behalf of Kankoyo community. Relocate us. We need a better place. So ife lwafumba wezo.
Natotera Sylvia, wafumula mpwisha makanga muliranda imwe.
Mpwisha amaka. Kyali nkali. Bantu nga kitanga nalolesha kirangalipa bantu nga nalolesha abaana. Efo bale emkwai. Kumpa n'oluse. Abisho mwana kutsale. Iwe bwela yalapita center.
Akwete myeshingo mwana.
Ila 2 months.
Eole pema center. Wow.
Wafya. Twaliwamu bwafya.
However, Sylvia, I'm sure abantu bade for. I understand you have like Action Aid as some work umumwine mukankoyo, Oxfam as some work mukankoyo, naba CPTG nabe nabali kwata ma projects mukankoyo na mweno. Green and Justice nabe namubali mukankoyo. I'm sure at the end of the day, the government naba mimfanangu baka mimfanangu ni mailo. And we hope that very soon I'm organizing Napunda, they can come together and see how they can push the agenda. Yeah, otherwise, I would also like to thank Louisa, who has helped facilitating this broadcast. So Sylvia Pavadia Pate Kunganda Kutali na Kunganda Kumavo. Nanda go Kunganda Sylvia Marait Takudi. Something. So thank you very much, Louisa. Thank you very much for facilitating this discussion. Thank you very much also to CPTD, Mr. Banda. Now got pressure so he's been trying hard to join us. Have you noticed ni light yapa laptop so it's been very difficult for him to so babanda bafune ku CPTD Center for Policy and Trade Policy and Development. So to allow to nabe nabasibai kwata mawiko womba mkopo byote munakumfulira kunyako. So I think working together with all these organizations at Lumbra, they obviously do something. They will go lobby that you are moved. And I know it's not a new discussion, but obviously it's their interest that the good is done for the people of Kankoyo. And also, I'm also appealing to the government. This is not a new problem for Kankoyo. We cannot accuse the Patriotic Front of failing of causing that. That is a problem that started a long time ago, but it's not too late for the Patriotic Front government to do something for the people of Kankoyo. Avena Kankoyo, ifwe tribena Kankoyo. It's because Katuka Kankoyo. Katwalanda to President Edgar Rumbwe bafidirwe out abafidirwe. Didi ashibadi disanga, but it's not too late na kwa support chimo kwa fulisha abantu wa Kankoyo. And also, so thank you very much for everybody that has been supportive, and thank you very much to Sylvia again for coming through. Thank you very much, Mr. WEBBY Banda, for making it through to the show, even under very difficult conditions. See you on Friday. Thank you very much.